Hey everybody, it's Review Revolution, back at you again, and today we're taking a look at the next in the McFarlane Monsters Twisted Fairy Tales, Series 4, Twisted Fairy Tales. And today we're going to take a look at Gretel. Gretel being Hansel's sister. Remember Hansel, that schmuck from last time? Well, we got his sister. And taking a look at her in the pack. Outstanding. McFarlane Monsters Twisted Fairy Tales, as I already mentioned. Kind of like that logo down there with the, kind of almost looks like the rose stems with the skull in the middle. It's actually kind of cool. Here we've got what looks almost like an oil painting, I guess. I don't know what it actually is, but I love the portraits here on the side on the cards. These as prints would be fantastic. I mean, on top of McFarlane's art, you know, for comics, some of the box art that he has is fantastic. I think it's great. Here we go. We've got Spawn.com for ages 17 and up, and definitely not recommended for children under 3. On the side, just like with Hansel, there is a picture of the figure, nicely lit. Again, kind of the shadows around her face. Gretel there at the top. Very, very cool. The back of the pack shows the figures that are in the line, and like most of McFarlane's sets, either the monsters or whatever it may have been, there's always 6 figures in a set. McFarlane always does 6 in a set. Hansel we've done, Gretel we're doing today. These two, and then Red Riding Hood. I guess these 3 are the only actual from fairy tales. Peter, Pumpkin Eater, Miss Moffat, and Humpty Dumpty, those are nursery rhymes. So, yeah, if you didn't already know. McFarlane Monsters, Twisted Fairy Tales. Last time I'll read the write-up. The infamous McFarlane Monster action figure line is back. Series 4 focused on beloved fairy tale and nursery rhyme characters, all skewed by McFarlane vision into something new and horrible. I don't know about horrible. Okay. Hansel might disagree, but I don't know about horrible. We'll take a moment, we'll get Gretel open, and we'll take a look and see how she came out. Have some fun. Be right back. Alright everybody, we've got Gretel out of her plastic, and man, I gotta say, when it comes to the McFarlane name, the McFarlane line of figures, you know to expect good and bad. The Gretel, first off, we've got her posed with all her accessories. She's really not going to stand at all without them. So, I guess that's kind of a bad. But taking a look at the figure itself, and we'll kind of move these aside. Taking a look at the figure itself, the one thing that McFarlane does do very well is the detail work. You know, it's something where it's not real hard to take, you know, a character and kind of give her this, well, this kind of trashy style. You know, it's really not that hard to do kind of just a trashy version of some character. That's not the hard part. The real part of this that makes it so nice is the details. One of the first ones being in the Hansel and Gretel story. I think that everybody remembers the gingerbread house made of, you know, gingerbread and candy, and on her right side, she has all these various tattoos, and they all kind of have this candy kind of, you know, feel to them. You know, kind of a peppermint pattern here. You know, kind of a candy cane in the spiral. You know, so it certainly kind of has a candy feel to it. I don't know if that's what that's supposed to be, but, you know, you just can't escape that has kind of a candy element to it, and that is part of the story that she's from. Really, really nice. On the head, she's got her eyebrow tattoo, or her eyebrow piercings, and her nose ring. The head, and I'll get to the articulation a little bit more here in a second, but the head is on a hinge, but it's kind of looking down. You can kind of tell that she's going to be holding the mop and looking at the mess she's cleaning up. So from this angle, and actually, from pretty much any angle, the paint, the face, the expression, it all looks really good. If this had been on a ball joint, I would have said that it's a success on the head, because there's not any one way that you look at it and it makes it look strange. I mean, she looks very nice. The paint is very crisp. I love how the eyes are painted very clear. Focus. The hair has some highlights in it, and of course she's got it kind of tied up here at the top. The shirt she has on, of course, after being chased through the forest by animals and so forth, it has all the same kind of tears and snags that Hansel had. Showing that much more skin. Not that there was really that much left to the imagination in the first place. The top part of the torso is sculpted, but they did add this black kind of lace piece on the front, which is a very nice touch. It looks really good. Kind of, again, gives us that lederhosen. Got the flower paints on it. But no, she wasn't really hiding that much to begin with. On the hands, now just like on Hansel, the hands are very raw, very red. Definitely looks like she's been doing dishes and, hard, scrubbing with her hands. She's got the soft plastic apron, which comes around the back here, and here on the ropes on the ties has the ribbon that comes all the way down. And whether it's in the packaging or part of the sculpt, I don't know, but her waist does twist. Yet you can always tell when it's back to center because of the way it just kind of hugs her bottom. I mean, you always know when you have it straight because of the fact that it kind of wraps around her tushy there. She's got her thong ensemble on with the garter. And the garter, when you look a little bit closer at the garter, God, that's cool to say. When you look closer at her garter, you can see the green paint. It kind of breaks up a little bit. But, I mean, you've got to get in and really take a look at that. So, it's hardly even worth mentioning. Her legs, now, this one leg is a solid piece. No articulation in it whatsoever. And the kind of fishnets, they have some holes and some runs in them, but at least she's keeping her seam straight. On her knees, again, just like her hands, very red, very raw. So it definitely makes it look like, and this is the kind of detail I mean, that it really makes it look like this character has been doing, hard work in the kitchens, cleaning the house. She's been abused and forced to do this work. And I don't know if you would see that kind of detail. I don't know if you would see this kind of paint applied to some other kind of figure. She's got her platforms, very high platforms on, kind of blood around her toes. She's been walking through something, splashing around in something nasty. Along with the twist at her head and on her waist, there is a twist right here above the lace on her arm. Kind of swings back and forth. Same thing on this side. So you can kind of close her hands up. There is a twist at the wrists, like so. So not much in the way of articulation, but you really can get a whole different kind of feel by just kind of swinging these apart. As I said, this one leg has no articulation in it. This leg here on the left swings back and forth. But again, you don't want to get too far off center because of the way her accessories have to kind of fit in. So just set her aside. Taking a look at her bucket. Again, much like Hansel's cage, very nice paint to get the kind of galvanized feel to it. If it had been a little more solid, a little less dry brush, I think that would have been better. But not bad. Definitely, you know what you're looking at. It's got a big old dent in the side here, the peg that her foot fits on. I don't think you're ever really going to set it upright, even though looks like there was some residue from the brush that was used. Looks like there is something pretty nasty that's been in this bucket. Don't know what, but looks pretty bad to me. Her mop is actually made of 2 pieces, which are really tough to get put together. I gotta tell you, this mop was hard to assemble, but finally got it together, and it looks great. I love just, when you look at the details, and I'll keep saying that, details, details, details. The head of the mop here is very nicely done. The wood grain on the handle, the blood up here, probably from her hands. It looks really, really nice. And it's just a piece of wood, but it's sculpted and painted very nicely. The head of the mop, you can see kind of each individual bristle as it's being soaked up by the blood. I don't know if that's supposed to be a stray finger. I believe that's an ear sitting there. I think Hansel had both of his, but you never know who else is there. The blood is a soft plastic, but it's firm enough that when you bend it, it usually comes back into place just fine. Now, taking the mop and putting it back into her hands, she's very delicately balanced. That's something else I want to make sure to mention. She doesn't really balance on the bucket, or when you peg her in, she doesn't usually stand very well unless the mop is in her hand, because it kind of works as a counterbalance. Otherwise, she tends to fall backwards a few times. But still, a really cool figure, really great addition to the Twisted Fairy Tales line. Gretel to go along with Hansel. Hope you've enjoyed it. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.